Hey everyone. It's been like 3 weeks, maybe even a month. I don't even know. It's been a little bit. I post on Instagram every day, but not so much on YouTube because, the energies, the faster that we approach the 21st, the more I'm physically feeling like a lot of different things and going through things myself. And so I really have to put myself first and my kids first. But I noticed that spirit really pushes me to make a video whenever things start to get intense. And so, like, you'll notice, like, the last time I think I posted was right after the election. And now, yesterday, over like a series of different signs, I guess you could call them, coming through in different ways, I finally was like, okay, maybe I should go on and talk to everybody and just let them know where I'm at in terms of my intuition on what's about to happen in the next few days and weeks to come. And so the first thing that made my sensors kind of go up a little bit about these coming days, this next week especially, is that Lance was supposed to go to Virginia, and there were like multiple things that spirit were putting in his way so he wouldn't go. And I was just like, why is that? He goes out there to see his girls and stuff. He goes all the time, and it's close to Christmas. Like, they were going to celebrate Christmas, so it was really important to him, and like he didn't care what he had to do, he was going to get there. So first we have this huge snowstorm. We got like 18 inches of snow in less than 24 hours. I mean, it was so much. So I was like, well, you're going to have to like at least leave a day later because of the snow. So it was like, that was kind of like the first thing. I was like, oh, I don't know if this is a good time. But I would never tell him not to go, see his daughters ever. I don't tell, light workers know this. You don't tell a light worker what to do because that never ever will work. You can't control somebody who is in their sovereignty. That will push them away. And you never want to do that anyways. You want people to make those decisions for themselves. So anyways, then so we had the storm, and then we were gonna just play outside with the kids, and then he was gonna leave that afternoon, and all of a sudden he's playing out with the kids. He lost his car keys in the snow somewhere, and we have a pretty big yard, and I mean, there's like over a foot of snow. And so he had the metal detector out there and everything scanning the yard, thanks to me, because I got him a metal detector for his birthday because I watched way too many seasons of The Curse of Oak Island, and I was like, dude, I gotta get a metal detector. Plus I'm kind of like a history nerd. Like, that's what I majored in college. So, and that was my concentration. So, yeah, I like corny stuff like that, like finding artifacts and stuff. But anyways, off on a tangent. So his keys completely like just, they're still missing. They're still missing. And I was just like, I mentioned to him, I was like, it seems like spirit doesn't want you to go because like we're not a vibrational match to losing your keys and not finding them for days. Like, that's a sign that maybe it's probably not a good idea. You know what I mean? So then he was like, I knew him. He was like, well, you can drive me to the car rental place and I'll rent a car and I'll drive. I said, I'm not driving you because, and I didn't even think about it. I said no. And when it's like that, that's when I know, like, don't question that shit. Like, that's, it's spirit is trying to stop him. So don't be an accomplice to his stubbornness, right? His ego just having that plan and not wanting to, like, deter from it. Like. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm not going to stop you from doing what you want to do, but I'm not going to be an accomplice to this because I just feel like you shouldn't go. And so in my mind, I was like, he's just going to call him Uber because he's that stubborn. And I get it. Like, I love that about him. I'm the same way. Like, whatever. Like, you're going to do what you want to do. Okay. So then his mom texted me and was like, have Lance call me. It's an emergency. So I was like, oh no. So I was like, and his first thing that came in my mind was like, this is spirit trying to halt him from going again. Like, what's it going to take until he stops being attached to this plan he had, right? So his mom ends up talking to him, and his dad, like, he works at the shipyard. They work over in Virginia or whatever, and somebody in his group that he works with had got the virus. So he had to be quarantined for 24 hours, and he didn't want Lance to come because he wouldn't have his results to know of all that. You know what I mean? And so so I was like, I looked at him after his mom got off the phone, and I was like, do you need any more signs from the universe that you probably aren't supposed to go, you know? And he was like, okay, he finally, gave into it. And then I was just like, what? So for me, it was like, okay, cool. I feel happy that he's like finally like stop it, letting go of the reins of trying to control a situation and just surrendering to the universe. So, but in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, so cool, Lance is going to be safe because he's just going to be at home. But why did Spirit want to stop him? Like, what is the big deal? You know what I mean? And so later, last night, I was laying in bed and I was like, not ready to go to sleep yet. So I was like, I just want to watch something kind of just half-heartedly so I can fall asleep to it. So somebody had sent me on my Instagram some little documentary on the event that's coming up and like the explanation of the astrological and the planes of the earth and all this kind of stuff with it. And they had mentioned something called the Carrington event that happened in 1859, where there was like a solar storm that hit the magnetic sphere of the earth. And it caused technology blackouts, like mass technology blackouts. And in the documentary, it mentioned how this, on the 21st, this event or solar storm or whatever you want to call it, is going to be so significantly larger than the Carrington event. So maybe, and I'm just throwing speculation out there, and that's all this is speculation, me trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together, because I do get intuitive hits about things all the time. So maybe the whole 10 days of darkness has to do with our electric grid not being able to handle the frequencies coming in. And so that's maybe I'm just giving you guys what I'm feeling, okay? And then so that was last night, and then this morning I wake up and I'm on Facebook and on Instagram, and I see two separate people post two separate posts, both referring to the Carrington event. And I was like, okay, how many synchronicities do you need? There's a good chance there could be a blackout. So let's just not freak out and just say, hey, back in the day, they didn't have electricity either. How did they heat their homes? Go to the store, get a little small propane heater if you are worried about heat. Like for us, we live up in the mountains, so they can't run gas lines up here. We rent out an old farmhouse, and it actually takes oil heat. But the boiler, I just went down the basement and checked after I got all these signs. I was like, okay, maybe we should figure out the heating situation. Like, not worried about the fridge and stuff because I have coolers in the shed and I can just stick snow in them and put them on the back porch and keep our stuff cool. It's cold here. We're in the mountains of Pennsylvania. But Lance is about to go to the store right now and get just a couple little of those propane heaters. There's little portable ones. They're not really that expensive at all. And just in case. And you can always just return them, if you don't need them. But it's better to be prepared. And, Spirit had kind of been preparing me all along, because every time I go to the grocery store, because I have 4 kids and there's 6 of us in this house, including our huge dog. She's Great Pyrenees and Golden Mix. So she's a big girl and she eats. Every time I go to the store, I'll just get a couple extra canned goods, couple extra, shredded wheat, non-perishable things, just in case. So we can be covered for like a week or 2 if something should happen. And guess what? I don't do that in fear. I do that to feel confident. So if shit goes down, I'm sitting here in confidence and preparedness, and I know my family's cool, and we just got the board games out and the puzzles out, and we're chilling. Like, this is the problem. People are in fear because they're so dependent on being taken care of by the government, by our little, like, the way we live in it's such luxury. And people just don't realize it because they've never traveled or learned about different places in the world. Like, they don't realize that we are just like bougie as hell over here in America, like not self-sufficient and independent. And that's why we're so susceptible to fear, to being worried about something happening to us. Like, the people who aren't worried about the grid going down are people who know how to take care of themselves, who have actual life skills. No one gives a shit that you got a degree. If you don't know how to survive if something goes down, that means nothing. You will use that degree to light a fire, to keep yourself alive. You feel what I'm saying? Like, people are so quick to pay someone to do something for them, even when it comes down to fix your car. I'm not even joking. I have fixed things in my truck just by going on YouTube and just figuring out how to switch a part out. If it got complicated, of course I'd go seek help and pay a small business and support a small business to help me out and keep that, all of that money in our community and creating an economy in that way. And that's the problem. We're not thinking it in that mindset. We're thinking, oh, can I save 50 cents by going to Walmart instead of supporting a small business? Sorry about that, guys. I was just I had to handle my kids, but when I left off, I was just ranting about being self-sufficient and stop being so dependent. But I also want to get to these other things that I believe are little signals to me that something could be happening soon, okay? So today, the Pentagon halted the transition of Biden, okay, in terms of him being the presidential elect. And at literally today at 3:30, President Trump is meeting with the Secretary of Defense. So what's that about? You know what I mean? And the Chinese have set up shop in Canada for a while now. So we already know that the CCP is infiltrated everything, not to mention the cyber attack going on. And so right now, if they halted Biden's transition and Trump is meeting with the Secretary of Defense, to me, that says that the CCP is going to be throwing out their last big bombs. And I don't know if that's literal or figurative, but they're going to be grasping at strings for power right now. So to me, it just can't be coincidence that it aligns with this huge astrological event that we haven't seen in 6,000 years. I'm just saying, okay? So all we can really do is speculate, which is what I'm doing right now. I don't know for sure. I'm just sitting here giving you my thoughts. And we can prepare in confidence, not in fear. If y'all need to go watch some YouTube videos of people living off the grid and stuff and gain a little confidence in seeing these average people being able to do things to survive and not need to worry about if your utilities are going to be cut off. It's really not that big of a deal. Like, we have so much information at our fingertips and we are capable of doing anything. You limit yourself with your own thoughts that you can't do things. You can literally do anything. I've done plumbing. I've done things to my car. I do things around the house all the time. I know multiple different ways to make fire without having matches or a lighter. Like, guys, everybody should know this. They should teach people this in school. Like my kids, I just got them sewing kits for fucking craft to do for homeschool because we have to know these things. You don't just have to get online and buy from these big corporations a new pair of pants because you got a little hole in the ones that you have. Fucking sew it. Why are we so materialistic and we care what everyone thinks about everything, how we look, what we wear, the brand that's on our shirt? It's like insane to me because I've never felt that way. I've never been on that bandwagon, but I've associated in those circles before and I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like, it's extreme disconnection. It is. And I'm not sitting here trying to be judgmental. It's just like I get to a point where I'm just like, I don't understand how other people don't see what I'm seeing. And it lights a fire in you to be like, peel everyone's eyes open. And today I have a lot of fire in me. Like, I felt it in me all day. I'm going to have to do something to create some balance. like sit and do a puzzle to like some soft music or something like that, or listen to an audiobook. But a lot of times, like when I have so much, it's like I'm sticking my finger in a light socket. Like when I have that energy like rolling through me, like you wouldn't even be able to know it. But I use marijuana to balance me out, and I would say it's something I have to work on not being dependent on when okay, so here's an example of how I am and why I've felt the need to medicinally use it. So have anybody ever taken like an Adderall? I've never taken one, but I've seen like an average person take an Adderall and how it changes them and they're like hyper productive. Okay. And so that's how I feel naturally, which is why I'm like this crazy productive, get things done. It's probably why I've experienced so many things in my life, because I can't sit down. And like right now, I just smoked before I got on this video, and you feel all the energy coming through me. You can't even freaking tell I did. I don't seem calm at all. And that's what my, so like I just receive, and I feel like I have to get it out. So for like another thing I have to work on is like when I'm sitting in a conversation and I have to listen to somebody else, it's like I know what they're about to say and they're not getting it out as quick as I'm hearing it in my head, and I get impatient and I just want to like answer their question before they're even done talking, or like interrupt them or something like that. And it's completely not like out of bad intentions. It's just like something I have to work on. And I know there's other light workers that have like similar, I don't want to call them issues, because at the end of the day, I know it's a gift, but it's a gift that you have to, it's a practice too. My brother is the same way. Like, I have other family members that are the same way too. So it's probably something to do with the personality. And when you mix that with certain like gifts. So for me, I'm claircognizant and clairsentient, and I feel everything. Like I felt, when I feel like I have to do a video and my guides are like encouraging me to do a video, like you're not going to be able to sit with yourself unless you do one, I'll just feel like a ball of anxiety, like if I don't do it. And then as soon as I get all the information out, or as soon as I get the message across, I feel completely refreshed. I can sit down, I can chill, I'm super calm and patient. It's just like, and I think that's what's happening with me right now. And I do think what's happening right now, like people do need to be aware, okay? And keep your eyes to the sky, because everything that's going down, it's like we're going to be, hopefully everybody gets a nice clear night, because we're going to be able to see, I don't know, like I was speculating with Lance. I wasn't even sure I was going to like talk about this, but I'll talk about it because I don't, whatever. But I was like, what do you think is going to happen in terms of like, okay, say we get this huge blast of these high frequencies and everybody has to show up, like physically, energetically, spiritually. They have to show up, because you have to be able, your body has to be able to handle these energies. And I'll just use a quick example. Ever since I was 8 years old to the time I think I was about 26 when it stopped happening, I would faint. I had vasovagal syncope, which is like the vagus nerve that goes down, the main nerve that goes down and like triggers all the other little nerves. That would be easily triggered by different things like heat. Like I couldn't go in hot tubs. Hot days would trigger it. I have tattoos. Whenever I get a tattoo, pass out, give blood, don't eat enough. I have a super fast metabolism. I was tested by so many different doctors, and they finally just said that my vagus nerve is very sensitive. And so like my physical body couldn't handle the energy. I was not taking care of myself then. Funny enough, as soon as I hit my spiritual awakening, I started raising my vibration, taking care of myself. I had not passed out since. And I used to pass out regularly. And it was not fun. It was actually quite painful, but I got to the point when I was a kid, but I got to the point where I felt it coming on. Like I can tell you the steps right now, what's going to happen when you pass out. First thing, you're going to feel nauseous out of nowhere, but it's really quick. It's out of nowhere. Then your mouth starts watering. Then your ears ring. Then your vision gets blurry. And then you wake up with people around you and they're like, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, this happens all the time. So like, I'm telling you, like, if your body can't handle the energies, that could possibly happen, or other things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And I don't like to speculate on the bad stuff, but we still have to keep in mind that these times, what were called the end times, the rapture and all that. So there are going to be some things or people or what have you that aren't going to be able to handle these energies. Okay. And so, and I told Lance, like, I don't like talking about this kind of stuff on my channel, but I'm also a deep thinker, and I like to throw things out there in a way where I don't want you guys to think I'm being insensitive. I'm just being a thinker right now. So for instance, if people choose to get vaccinated, they're a vibrational match to the consequences of that. Okay? And I don't want you guys to think I'm being insensitive. That's just the facts. We are electric. We are magnetic beings. Like, what you put out, it's a law. It's a universal law. It's coming back to you. Okay? So when you're afraid to be sovereign, when you're afraid to think for yourself, when the media tells you who to be and what to think, and you are so afraid, like, to about not fitting in, or not believing the way most people believe. You just don't know how to get you are a vibrational match to the consequences of all of those things. So it's so important. It's so important to really analyze every perspective. Don't just, like, most people, and I think I just posted a meme about this on my Instagram. I just had a blank of what it was. Most people just want to hear, they just want confirm the beliefs that they already have. They don't want new information. They don't want information that might but or disagree what they already believe. And to me, that blows my mind. That blows my mind, because I'm that person who was literally raised in the church. And then I saw some of the phoniness, but I also saw the good. But then I went to the university, right? And I was and so the university was pointing out all of these things about the church that caused war, that caused all these things. So what did I become when I was what was I a vibrational match to then? It made me dislike the church to the point where I became an atheist, where I would literally sit and listen to Christopher Hitchens and be like, hell yes, this guy is spitting so much facts right now. He was brilliant. It's a damn shame he didn't delve into the actual esoteric spiritual side of things, because it would have been awesome. Like, it would have been. Like, I still have mad respect. Rest in peace, Christopher Hitchens. His intentions were good. I feel like they were good, but he was stuck. I feel like he's stuck like a lot of truthers get stuck. And the problem with, like, knowing about all the deep, dark shit, but not knowing about the spiritual shit, is it's a huge imbalance that creates fear. So a lot of truthers are just sitting up on their channels and they're just spitting fear, but not bringing the solution to the table, which is the spiritual side of things, right? The spiritual side of things is, I know I'm good. Like, I know I'm sovereign. I know what I'm a vibrational match to. And I know that there's so many different timelines that I can choose in any given moment to change my direction. And I believe that I hold that power to choose, regardless of who gets elected president or if the grid goes down. Everything's always working out for me. And then once you get to that point energetically, once you hold that sovereignty inside of yourself, nothing will ever be the same again. And that's what I want to come back to, what I was talking to Lance about. I was like, what if, and this is just speculative, because I think it would be fucking awesome, but scary at the same time. Everybody had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening when this happened. What if that happened? This is what would happen. Everybody who's stuck in fear and is low vibe, it would be like a really bad mushroom trip, right? You can, if you know about spirituality, your trip can be so healing, right? But if you don't, you could have a little troll chasing you through a cornfield. Okay? Like, trips are crazy. I've never been on a really hard trip. I've done, actually was curious. So I grew my own because I don't trust people. I just do shit myself. Okay? That's what being sovereign and independent is about. You figure it out. You go figure shit out and then you make it happen. And then you have that balance of divine feminine, that confidence of like, I can do anything. I'm connected to spirit. I'm connected to the universe. I'm connected to God. I co-create with everything because I am everything. Shit, what was I talking about? Oh, growing the mushrooms. Okay, so I tried. I didn't do a hard trip though. I didn't want to. I didn't have to. My Kundalini had already been activated, okay? But I wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to see if I would see shapes and all that. And I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed it, and I was like, holy shit, like it was amazing feeling, but it wasn't like, I don't have it, I still have spores, mushroom spores, and I could grow more, but I don't have a desire to. I really don't. Like, I feel like I don't want to, I feel like it holds you back when you were, if you were to like do too many psychedelics and stuff like that. Like, at the same, it keeps, it's like you're floating around ungrounded. What is the point of that? Who are you gonna help when you're just floating around receiving messages all day? It's like everybody wants to receive, but once you receive, how are you also giving them back? How are you giving back? What messages are receiving, and how are you implementing them into your life so you can have that experience and then be able to explain that to somebody else? A lot of people in the New Age spiritual community are just stuck in the ego. They're stuck in like, I know this and I know that, and I went and did Reiki, and I traveled here and did that, and like, that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, I love the fact that I haven't really had the opportunity to do pretty much any of those things because I have 4 children and I have responsibilities and shit like that. And that's fine to anybody who went and did those things. But at the end of the day, I was straight up old-fashioned with it. Like, this is a raw awakening. I didn't go ask anyone for help. It just was like me facing my shit. Me going through a dark night of the soul, and then just breaking down and building myself back up, and then doing it again and doing it again and doing it again till I get to the point where, I'm not even joking you, 2 days ago, I got news that two-thirds of a portion of one of my income sources is not going to be happening for at least 3 months, and I got to figure my shit out, and I don't even care because I know spirit has me always. And like, the old Kelsey would have fucking had a fit. How, oh, the whole fucking world's ending, and like making a big deal out of nothing, because I've never been in a situation that I didn't figure it out, that I didn't make it through. But I know one thing, I always used to make the shit way harder than it had to be because of my lack of faith in spirit. My lack of faith in my abilities to co-create with the universe around me. I'm not worried about anything. And I'm not sitting here trying to be cocky or anything like that. I'm sitting here trying to be the light and show you what sovereignty looks like. And what it looks like is fearless. Come to my door and try to tell me I'm taking a vaccine. I wish you would. You know what I mean? And like, just walking through the store without a mask on. I have to tell you guys a story about that. So I'm walking into the grocery store and I don't wear a mask. And I see another older woman and she didn't have a mask on. I was like, hell yeah. Whenever somebody doesn't have a mask on, I always give them a big ass smile in their direction. But I smile at everyone, especially with the people who have the mask over their nose, because I already know what it is. And I want them to know that I'm not doing this to buck the system. It ain't about that. It's about sovereignty and our rights. But anyways, and then I saw another woman, and she looked at me and she looked at the other woman, and I just kept going up, and then I had turned around because I had forgot the bread, And I looked, and she took her mask off and put it in her purse. And I shit you not, goosebumps went down through my whole body, because I was just like, that is it right there. Everybody just needs to feel like they're not the only one. And if we keep just going in and wearing it with our nose out and just like not wanting to deal with like facing it, then other people won't have the courage either. I swear to God, I started like, I was so happy in that moment. My eyes started to well up with tears in the store, because I was like, that's fucking it right there. We just all, and it was just 3 grown women in the store showing people what standing up for your rights looks like, and doing it with love. We were just owning it like nothing has changed. Like, this is our life and this is the way we're gonna live it. And it's just like, we have to get brave now. Because, and honestly, all these people who have been making fun of us and calling us conspiracy theorists and telling us we're crazy to think, oh, Biden is already the president, we're crazy to think anything else could happen. You know what? They're the people we're doing this for. The people, that's what Lori Ladd said, and I fucking love that. A shout out to her for that. We're doing it for you. All the people that are making fun of us, the reason we're speaking out is for them. And if they don't get it, by now, well, then they're going to have to suffer the consequences of getting a vaccine. They're going to have to suffer the consequences of the programming that they refuse to release within themselves. We're letting them know what's up, and all they want to do is making fun of us because they're full of ego. They're narcissists just because they're looking up to their narcissistic leaders who manipulate their emotions in order to control them, right? They are who they look up to. That's one thing about me. I never ever was like, oh my gosh, I love celebrities or anything. I never had role models. From day one, I felt so like, no, I'm me. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of light workers resonate with that, but it's so hard when the world's telling you to be who they want you to be. And it breeds a lot of insecurity. And right now, all those insecurities are coming up, and people are going to have to look in the mirror. And honestly, I see a lot of people who are not going to be down with getting vaccinated. And I think that's beautiful. And I think that's because of us. I think that's because we've been getting loud. And I think when it comes down to it, yeah, they're going to still be pro-Biden, but I don't know if they're going to put that needle into their arm. And I hope that they don't. I really hope it was enough. Because I know, I see it on my social media. I see people saying, you know what? I'm down for the Democratic Party and all of that stuff. They're still like blind in that aspect. But they ain't so blind that they're going to put an experimental vaccine for a virus that has a 99.6% survival rate injected into them with an mRNA. It's totally experimental. They've never even made a vaccine that's an mRNA vaccine before. They're literally trying to manipulate who you are. But anyways, this is just me and my rant, because like I had to come on here, guys. I had to release it. I already feel better. So whatever needed to come out must have already come out for you guys, and I hope it helped. And I love you. And you know what? I'm going to link that video I watched where I had that first synchronicity about the parenting event, because it was actually interesting. I don't know if I 100% resonate with it, because I mean, it sounded like, I like the way it sound. They made a lot of great points. But like I said, I look at so many different sources of information, and I just solve the puzzle. I take what resonates, leave the shit I don't resonate with. And that is how you make decisions from a place of you thinking for yourself. Because if you just keep going to the same sources for information, you're that's just like worshiping an idol. That's like saying this person knows everything. That's where they went wrong in the church. The church is like, don't worship false idols. You shouldn't have been worshiping Jesus and stuff. All he was a light worker who rose the kundalini inside of him and was trying to show people about God. And what is God? Them. God is in them. Why are they trying to say? That's why ETs don't want you to act like they're so much more like better than you in a hierarchical sense just because they've have access to certain abilities. You do too. Like, wake up, people. Like, we're all psychic. We're all psychic. You just have to unlock that junk DNA that they don't want you to think about. Why would you have DNA that's junk? Your body doesn't have anything that's junk. Everything is there for a purpose. And all that DNA is waiting for you to be a vibrational match to the activation of it. And as you do that gradually, through healing yourself, through making changes in your life, you will activate psychic abilities in yourself. And it will be much easier now because the vibrational frequency of the earth is raising. The Schumann resonance has been off the charts. And we're about to have the most insane astrological event that they have been talking about since the beginning of written time. So guys, this video is just me telling you to make sure you have some food and heat and prepare yourself with confidence, sovereignty, and support, and just try to keep things lighthearted. I know I'm coming at you in kind of like a fiery way, and I'm swear to you guys, I can't help it right now. It's just like in me. But at the end of the day, woosah, stay in your center. Everything is good. I promise you everything is good. If you're watching my video and you've got this far into it, that means you don't think I'm crazy. And you probably already have your vibrational frequency is already up there and you're just riding the wave with me. So keep your eyes to the sky, guys. Keep your eyes to the sky and enjoy the show because it's about to get crazy. I feel it with everything in me. I'm a feeler. Like, I literally barely leave my house because I can't stand feeling everyone's shit. And I know I do protect myself. I promise. You guys are like, oh, protect yourself before you go out. I do. It's just people drive me crazy with the programming, and I just prefer to protect my energy to that level. If I'm going to go leave the house, I'm probably going to go hiking. That's why Spirit put us in the mountains. It's fucking beautiful. It's beautiful when you become a vibrational match to everything that you desire. I promise you it is. It happens for me. And even when the contrast comes up or the negativity comes up, you look at it and like, oh my gosh, universe, thank you for that gift. Thank you for that gift because I'm about to clear something else to make room for more. To make room for more. And the more you give service to others, the more Spirit takes care of you. Always. I love you guys.